And welcome to the Jag Magnet podcast for a new season, NBA 2017-2018. It is the show on the podcast. I have my man George. George, say what's up.
What's up, everyone?
So, first time on podcast. You played high school ball, college ball, pickup ball, but you know your ball. You know NBA stuff, right?
I do, yeah. I mean, played pickup in high school. I think I was on the freshman team, in my high school first year in the States, but then my parents told me to focus on school, so I ended up pulling out. But basketball has been a passion ever since, and I've enjoyed following it and playing it on occasion.
So I already know this, but just for the people that don't know, because it's your first time, who's your favorite basketball team?
Favorite basketball team has been San Antonio Spurs.
Okay.
Saw them play on TV the first time in '98.
98. Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
that's I think the year that Tim Duncan was being introduced to the league. Never looked back since
Really?
the David Robinson Tim Duncan combo fell in
That
love with
was
that.
that was
Man.
phenomenal.
Yeah.
That was phenomenal. I'll tell you that
Yeah.
much. Okay, so what we're gonna do is, if you agree that it's been one hell of an NBA offseason, I haven't done an NBA podcast, but me and you, we've talked so many times about the NBA podcast. I've freaked out, you freaked out on random issues, but what we're gonna do is, before we jump into that, you got to tell me what was the biggest takeaway of the NBA offseason this season. The biggest one. Okay, actually, give me your top three, starting with number 3.
Top three, I think. The biggest issue that jumps up at me is that loyalty is a thing of the past. It is about business at this point. It is about making money, getting publicity, getting endorsements, and ultimately for franchises and teams, it's getting the right pieces out there on the floor. So loyalty is a thing of the past. The second piece would be that Golden State Warriors kind of screwed up the league, mildly speaking.
Yeah.
Everybody's gunning against them, and everybody's trying to put the best lineup on the floor to try and compete with them with the firepower.
Yeah.
And the third item on the list would probably be that it seems like more or less defense is the thing of the past. It seems like the league is more about getting points at this stage. I'm looking at the Spurs. They were, I think, either number 1 or 2 in the league in defense last year, and didn't really get into NBA Finals. So I think it is about getting buckets, playing small ball, and trying to outscore the opponent.
So here's my top 3. Number 3, it is Melo going to OKC. Or actually, no, hold on a second. Because number 3 and number 2 are pretty much like OKC. I already gave that away. But what I'm saying is, number 3 is CP3 going to Houston. That was the first domino effect.
Yeah.
Nobody knew that. Nobody expected that. And all of a sudden, CP3 gets traded to Houston. And I was like, are you freaking kidding me?
Yeah.
What the hell? Right?
Yeah.
I remember texting you. I was like, you got to be kidding me. CP3 is going to Houston. And I had guys texting me, like, are you freaking kidding me? Like, all of a sudden, CP3, who's under contract, he somehow negotiated a deal, and the Clippers, you got to give him credit. Like, they did get something for him, but like CP3 didn't just walk away. So Clippers did get something for him, right? But in that sense, it's kind of like, well, Houston wanted to give up some pieces just because they wanted to shed some salary to get Chris Paul in there, because they wanted to get Melo.
Yeah.
That was the whole deal. And so then Melo was rumored to hit up Houston, which leads me to point 2. OKC was the biggest number 2 headliner in this offseason because of the fact that first they pick up Paul George. I never saw that coming, right? Then all of a sudden we all hear these rumors about Melo wanted to go to Houston, never happened, and then all of a sudden he expanded his trade list, and you saw Cavs on there, you saw OKC on there, you saw Portland on there, but then out of the blue, the second he did that, OKC shows up. So he gets traded to OKC.
Mhm.
That was number two. Number one was Kyrie Irving requesting a trade. And the reason why I say that is number one is because nobody has left LeBron James.
Right.
Nobody.
Yeah.
And so now you're just thinking, you're like, okay, you're leaving LeBron James, the best player in the world,
Mm-hmm.
and you've been to the finals 3 times. Why would you want to leave?
Yeah.
And then I don't know if you saw that ESPN First Take interview.
Yeah.
He dodged every freaking question like he was slipping and sliding of one of those childhood games, like slip and slide. That's what he's doing.
Yeah, it was really interesting because I feel like he had a lot of subliminal messages in that interview.
Yeah, for
The
sure.
main one was basically a knock on the Cavs organizational culture that I think catered to one particular player, being LeBron James.
Yeah.
But then LeBron's interview was kind of interesting because they were asking him about Kyrie and his departure, and LeBron was going, not really going at Kyrie directly, but indirectly he was saying, I taught the kid everything I know. I've imparted my DNA into him, you know. So you kind of wonder, because Kyrie is a killer on his own, you know, like he's offensively, he is up there, you know. Kevin Durant marveled at his skill. You know, like he can do wonders with the ball, like no matter how many defenders you throw at him.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like maybe LeBron is partially responsible for Kyrie's departure,
Mm-hmm.
just in that whole demeaning talk that he sort of assumed with respect to Kyrie.
So it's just kind of like, if you rewind the tape back, who was the point guard in Miami for the Heat? It wasn't Dwayne Wade. Dwayne was shooting guard. I'm talking about point guard.
Oh, like
Mario
LeBron
Chalmers.
and Mario Chalmers.
What was he doing to Mario Chalmers every single time?
Yeah,
He was yelling at the guy.
That's right, eating him alive. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm thinking that's what happened here.
Yeah.
And so it's just kind of like, okay, I get what happened, but there's got to be a way to work things out. Like, you guys had a superior team.
Yeah.
I don't know what happened.
Yeah. No, I think it's very unfortunate. I feel like it's not the way you want to depart from one another. You know, when you just basically got beat down 4-1. You know, I feel like going back at those guys and probably competing, and then if it doesn't work out, then make the decision then.
So number 2 and number 1 off my list are the biggest rivalries.
Mm-hmm.
Because now you have Golden State Warriors like pretty much going head to head with OKC.
Yeah.
Or the other way around, whatever. Then afterwards you have Boston Celtics. It's almost in an inevitable matchup for the Eastern Conference Finals.
Yes.
Going up against the Cavs.
Yeah.
So you know that's going to happen. What's your takeaway on the Boston Celtics as we speak right now? As it stands right now, what's your takeaway?
I feel like they have a pretty good roster. For me, it's how fast are they going to be able to get Kyrie and Gordon Hayward and what's the name of the center guy that plays there? Horford, yeah. How quickly are they going to be able to get those three to work together? Because I feel like Horford was. I feel like Horford's capable of doing a lot more than he was doing last year.
You know what? I think he needs to play power forward.
Yeah, there's a very good chance.
But the thing is, like, can Kyrie Irving move the ball?
I actually have doubts about that. You know, because I see him more as a combo guard.
Yeah.
You know, I don't think he's a pure point guard. He's got a scorer's mentality. like similar. His mentality is similar to Kobe's and Carmelo.
Westbrook too.
Westbrook, yeah,
Scored.
he's a go-getter.
Okay, so that's the NBA offseason, and we are not done yet. What I'm gonna do is go through the Western Conference, and we'll go team by team and what they did in the offseason and how much they suck or how much they're efficient. So let's start with the Phoenix Suns. Phoenix was pretty much, you could say, they tanked, right? Yet I don't see any off-season moves. Like, they were in that move to get Kyrie Irving, but Kyrie Irving didn't want to sign an extension there. What kind of grade would you give Phoenix Suns in the offseason?
In the offseason, well, I think they had a pretty good draft pick, right? With,
Josh Jackson.
With Josh Jackson.
Besides the draft pick.
He garnered some interest from the Cavs in that potential trade for Kyrie.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd give them a C. I think because of the draft, you can't really give them too low.
Exactly.
But it's like neither here nor there.
I'd give them a C plus because the thing is, they did try to pull off that trade.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, they didn't have any backup plan.
Yeah.
They did not, like, you got to tell me that, the only thing that they did was, that big center, Alex Len?
Mm-hmm.
That's all they did was sign him for $4.3 million. That's it.
Yeah.
Nothing else.
Yeah.
Like, you got Bledsoe. You can't tell me he's on somebody's trade rumor, like, because Bledsoe's a pretty good player, right?
Yeah.
But I don't know.
Well, I think you're right. I think he is. Western Conference so packed. Bledsoe is going to be your really good player that probably will never make the All-Star team. Because of how elite the Western Conference is.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And they're talking now about Devin Booker and Bledsoe splitting the minutes at point, sharing that, I guess, or sharing the responsibilities.
Really?
Something like that. Yeah, there was talk about that. So are they going to be both on the court at the same time, or I guess you have to. You got to put your best talent out there, but I feel like none of them are really passers. So.
No, I think they're all shooters, man.
Yeah, how are they gonna? Who's gonna bring the ball up and sort of facilitate?
Yeah. What about the Lakers, the next team? What kind of off-season grade would you give the Lakers?
The Lakers, I think they. I think it's a happening squad, for sure. Just with the coaching there, I think a young coach in Luke Walton is a good. Very good foundation because he's hungry. He wants to prove something, and I think he's a guy that can relate, right? Age-wise, culture-wise, he's a guy that can relate to the youth movement that they have there. I'm looking for Brandon Ingram to take the next step. Yeah, I think he can be very Durant-esque, in terms of his size and abilities. So he definitely has to take a step forward. Lonzo, How good is Lonzo going to be in the first year? I think he's going to be the factor that probably makes this team go.
So what kind of grade would you give him?
In terms of a grade, I think A minus.
A minus.
Yeah, I feel like if they picked up a veteran player, like they got Brook Lopez, which I think is a great pickup for them, is he going to stay healthy? That's my question.
See, the thing with me is. I'd give him a B plus.
Mm-hmm.
Just like, I'm a Lakers guy.
Yeah.
Right. I give him a B plus. Like, you made that D'Angelo Russell trade, which is cool. But part of me thinks you could have got more for that trade, and then also you still have that hindering player on your roster that's eating up 17 mil, which is Luol Deng.
Yes.
And so you had to do something with that guy. You didn't do anything. But you did pick up KCP. You did get Brook Lopez. The tampering thing that happened with Paul George. That only got away with a $500,000 fine, right?
Mm-hmm.
They snuck out of that one because we all know Paul George is going to Lakers.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
We'll talk about that when we talk about OKC. So basically, Westbrook is not going to go because he signed that ridiculous 5-year, $205 million extension.
Yeah.
That was don't get me started on that kind of freaking money. Bottom line is, Lakers did do very good offseason, right?
Yeah.
And especially starting off with Lonzo Ball.
Mm-hmm.
That kid needs to really shut the hell up when he's talking about, like, remember that one thing he's saying, oh, Nas is nobody listens to Nas anymore. He needs to shut the hell up and start playing freaking basketball. Like, yeah. I don't give. And for God's sakes, man, don't stop selling your shoes for $400. Okay, I'm not gonna buy a pair of shoes for $400.
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, I wear Nikes that were on sale for $70, or if not, I think it was $65.
Yeah, like what's his daddy's tweet was on Twitter saying that if you can't afford the shoes, you're not a big bowler.
Yeah,
something like
what
that.
the hell?
It's like it just kind of rubs. It
Rubs
can rub people the wrong way.
Yeah,
and I think the interesting thing is that cats are going to go at Lonzo. You got John Wall, who's got a lot of pride, capable guard. He's going to go at Lonzo. Chris Paul's going to go at Lonzo. Westbrook, you can bet, is going to go at Lonzo.
Oh, yeah.
LeBron's going to go at Lonzo. I mean, there's going to be a whole bunch of people going at him in his first season. I feel like we're going to learn a lot about Lonzo's character during the season because he's got a big bullseye on him.
Oh, big time.
100%.
Okay, so this one, I already know what I'm going to give him. An A+ for the Minnesota Timberwolves.
Yes.
100%, hands down. Why are we going to give him an A+? 2 words: Jimmy Butler.
Yeah, that was a steal.
That was one hell of a steal. I think they gave up a couple of jerseys and a couple of pylons for the guy.
Yeah.
like
yeah, like
they didn't give him any. They gave up the dancer, the NBA dancer, Cameron Payne. the guy that dances all the time.
Zach LaVine coming off of injury.
That was OKC.
Zach LaVine was, I think, the main trade piece that the Bulls
Zach
got in
LaVine.
return.
Oh, and Chris Dunn.
Dunn.
Up and coming.
I like Chris Dunn.
He's good.
Chris Dunn's good.
He's good.
LaVine, I feel like, has got a lot to prove. He'll be okay.
He's coming off the ACL tear, though.
Yeah, he is.
But they did sign Wiggins for how much?
I
think it was
in the hundreds, was it not?
148, I believe.
Yeah, 148, I think.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was 5 years, 148. So that leads me to tell you that what about you better have some money saved for the cat, right?
Yes. Yeah. You definitely got to keep those 3 playing together.
And then Jimmy Butler too. Like I know he's making $20 million per, but we'll see on that. Let's go to the other one, Sacramento Kings. What kind of grade are you going to give these guys?
Sacramento Kings.
They've been 10 years in a row now to the lottery draft.
I'm trying to understand what it is that they were doing because they basically given away DeMarcus Cousins for a bag of peanuts. Right?
Exactly, yeah.
Like I don't understand what that trade was about. It wasn't. I know for a fact it wasn't Vlade Divac's decision. Because Vlade Divac preached all along that, he's not trading this guy anywhere. He was very protective about Cousins, and rightfully so. Like this guy, to me, the guy's the best center in the league. Yeah, I think, in my opinion.
Yeah.
You can shoot, you can dribble, you can do whatever you want out there. He's got point guard skills at that size, and so it definitely was a management decision. So. Now they're signing Vince Carter, Zach Randolph, who look like they could be good pieces on a contender.
They did up until he caught with with weed.
Yeah, that's right.
Gotta be the weed.
Stephen A. Smith.
No,
let him have it for that for sure.
But I don't know, man. Sacramento is just like for some reason every year. They come up with the stupidest crap, man. Like
Yeah, I think what De'Aaron Fox is their hope, and Vince Carter I think is going to be a good mentor for the guy, right? But who else do they have on that roster? Are you gonna have Zach Randolph playing like 40 minutes a game?
Exactly.
Like I think he's way past his All-Star years.
I don't know, man.
You know, I'm just kind of interested what the deal is, and it's kind of interesting that they had Isaiah Thomas a few years ago. They had Rudy Gay. They had DeMarcus Cousins.
Yeah.
Why hasn't that worked? What was the issue there?
I give him a D, man.
Yeah. So
D for dumbass.
I feel like whatever talent they had accumulated, they lost it all.
Exactly.
And it's just like
What about Dallas? Dallas Mavericks.
Dallas Mavericks. Well, is Dirk going to have the fountain of youth to keep playing the way he is? I think Harrison Barnes had a good season.
Yeah, but these guys didn't do anything in the offseason.
No, nothing.
Like nothing.
Nothing.
That's why I give them an F.
Yeah. They traded away Darren Williams. And he was actually a contributor on the Mavericks. Hasn't gotten picked up since because he hasn't done anything on the Cavs. What's their point guard situation?
Oh, that guy, that rookie.
The one that moved
Dennis
up
Smith
from
Jr. Dennis Smith Jr.
Yeah.
So, F in this case stands for flippin' morons
Yeah.
or flippin' genius because they're gonna go after 2018 free agents.
Yeah.
So you take your pick on that one. But their offseason sucked.
I mean, Wesley Matthews, is he going to be able to take a step forward? It seemed like he had put a solid year together last year. Yeah. But it was still nowhere near to the level that he played on the Blazers.
It's just that Achilles tear.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
It's brutal. How about the Pelicans? Nolan's Pelicans.
I actually don't dislike that team at all. Between Drew Holiday, Rondo, Anthony Davis, and DeMarcus, I think it's a pretty good squad. I really think DeMarcus was a steal.
Mm-hmm. That was a definite steal.
Drew Holiday is an underrated player. I feel like has got some skill for sure. Is the culture going to be good enough for Rajon to play consistently and be that presence? He had a solid year on the Kings. Was up and down on the Bulls last year. Is he going to be able to repeat the performance from Sacramento stint?
The Rondo?
Yeah, Rondo. Yeah.
Not only that, but the Bulls in the last 10 games of the playoffs, and then the first the first 2 games in the playoffs, that guy was on a tear.
Yeah.
Right? Then he got injured and all hell broke loose.
Yeah.
Okay, so what about Denver Nuggets?
Denver Nuggets, again, I like their youth. I'm a huge fan of their center. What's the name? The behind the back passing guy. Jokic or something.
Something like that. He wasn't joking.
He wasn't joking. He was all business last year.
Yeah, for sure.
He's
good. He's really good, but
I like him.
The off season though, right?
The off season. I think they finally got rid of the Italian stallion.
Didn't you, Gallinari?
Yeah,
that was a good move.
That was a good move
because they didn't re-sign the guy.
No. Wilson Chandler, I like that player.
Yeah, he's good. Is
he going to get more minutes?
What about Kenneth Reed taking a back seat in minutes?
I think it's a fair move. I mean, you look at the guy who's been in the league for a few years. He hasn't really made a leap to higher production level.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's kind of reached his peak. I think people were kind of expecting him to be a manimal and kind of keep improving, but he's peaked and hasn't really done much since statistically. So I think he's a solid role player that you're going to keep on the squad.
See, with Denver, I'd probably give him an F. They didn't do anything. They didn't do it. Like literally. I think it was a ghost town in Denver this offseason.
Yeah.
I didn't hear a single peep from Denver.
Well, did they get Millsap or no?
Oh yeah, they did get
No,
Millsap.
I think Millsap. Yeah.
Yeah, they did get Millsap. You know what? There's been so many moves in the offseason. I forgot about Millsap.
Yeah, Millsap, because he's kind of the quiet all-star. I mean, he's not quiet, but people don't talk a lot about him because his game is not flashy. But he's an effective player. I think, what do they have? Like Djorkic, Millsap, Wilson Chandler, Moutier at
Yeah, that's a pretty good squad.
point guard.
Though. You gotta admit, that's a pretty good squad.
Yeah, I feel like the Nuggets have traditionally been very good at sort of ever since they moved on from Melo, just accumulating talent. You know, they haven't had like a standout superstar, but they've had players that they could do things with.
Yeah.
Even under George Karl, when he would win like 50 games with them consistently.
Yeah.
I think that culture seems to have kind of carried over.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like they can probably make some noise. I'm not looking at them as contenders, though. I don't think they have enough horses.
No.
You know.
They won't be contenders for a while.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to go to Denver.
So because we forgot about Millsap, I think I would give him a B-.
I'd still give him a C.
C. All right.
I raise that F to a C. That's pretty good. Pretty good jump. Pretty good jump.
Yeah.
Portland.
Oh man, I was actually interested about the prospect of Melo coming in on that club, and I think C.J. McCollum and Lillard were doing a pretty hard job of trying to recruit Melo there. He didn't want to go to Portland.
You got to give him props for that.
Yes.
You got to give him the effort. All I heard was Portland.
Yeah.
They kept I wouldn't say begging, right? But they kept insisting that he come, and you got to give him credit. Not only did the management try it, but the players tried it as well. So I give him an A.
Yeah. I think
even though they didn't make any moves.
There was a funny meme I saw on Instagram where they basically said that they had Lillard and McCollum for the two guard positions on the picture, and then they had a garbage can for all the other positions on the team, small forward, power forward, center. That's kind of the Blazers roster. Yeah. I think it all rests with Nurkic. You know, is he going to be able to take the next step? I think the guy has shown flashes of talent, but they need consistency from him.
Well, they got rid of Crab because there's a salary dump right there, right? So they got rid of him. Okay, so what about Memphis?
Memphis Grizzlies. It
was pretty quiet in Memphis this summer.
Got rid of their veterans. I don't know why, because they haven't really accumulated too many pieces. Chandler Parsons, is he going to live up to his contract?
Does he still play?
He still plays, but I think he spends way too much time chasing models on Instagram. I don't know that he's actually too busy working out or trying to get back in shape. But I think that's the year. And it seems like he's talking about sort of getting back to the player that he was on the Rockets. Mm-hmm. When he got that contract to go to the Mavs.
Yeah.
Hasn't really done much since, so I'm kind of wondering what's he going to do. And I mean, who else do they have? Like, Conley is a great point guard.
Yeah, but the guy makes $30 million a season, right? So, we have, hold on a second here. We got Mike Conley, Chandler Parsons. Did you know Chandler Parsons is making $24 million next year?
Well,
he doesn't deserve it. I never hear
his production certainly hasn't been at that level.
He's making the same amount as Marc Gasol.
Yeah.
But that's about it. Like, honestly, the rest of the people, do you even know who Wade Baldwin is?
No.
Exactly.
No clue.
So, see what I mean? Like, they only got three legit guys. Well, and you got Tyreek Evans, but I don't even know if he signed.
Tyreek Evans, what's the deal with that guy? Started out the season when he was drafted, his rookie season on the Sacramento, he was 25-5 guy. Like, everybody was like giving him praise, expecting big things out of him, and then he never really made the leap forward from there.
Yeah.
I don't know what the thing is. Is it just inconsistent shooting? What is it? I know there's been a bit of an injury history, but to me he is kind of like a dark horse there. You know, if he puts together a Sacramento like year, maybe they go somewhere. I don't know, but to me it seems they're gonna need a little more than just Mike Conley and Marcus Hall.
100%. Okay, so now we have the Oklahoma City Thunder.
Oh, that's the team I want to talk about.
Where to start? Why don't we start off with the biggest news of the day? What's the biggest news of the day? Russell Westbrook, 5 years, $205 million.
Oh my gosh.
That is by far the craziest. Isn't that like a historic number that nobody's ever touched?
Yeah. I mean, by that number, are they saying that he's more valuable to the team than Steph Curry? You know?
Oh no, wait! It's 6 years, $233 million. I think it's including this year. But the thing is, like, okay, you have Russell Westbrook signing for that much money. Then you have Carmelo Anthony under contract. Remember, he's a player option for $27 million.
Yeah.
Do you see Carmelo Anthony opting out?
I think it remains to be seen. I think it's going to depend on where the banana crew goes.
Oh,
You know, because I feel like there's a chance he might end up in LA with LeBron and Paul George next year.
we all know
make the salaries work.
We all know Paul George is gonna he's going to LA.
Oh, he's jumping ship because how is he going to get money with Russell Westbrook getting all that dough, right?
Then,
I mean, that's
you also got to think Steven Adams is making 24 mil,
yes,
right?
yeah,
Robertson is making 10. I know that's not a big surprise, but then you have Alex Breen's 5, Patrick Patterson 5, Kyle Singler pretty much 5 apiece right there. So you have 15 mil plus 10, that's 25. Plus Steven Adams, that's 50 mil just on those no-namers.
yeah,
50 mil just on those guys.
yeah.
Right? Then you got Russell Westbrook with his insane money. I'm pretty sure he's making 35. That's 85. Plus the 27. That's 112 mil right there.
Yeah.
Not including Paul George. You know what I mean?
You know, I look at that and it's just sad to me because you've just negotiated that contract for yourself, which
Exactly.
I think based on the numbers you deserve. But what does it say about the long-term future? You know, you just got guys like Paul George and Carmelo on your roster.
Yeah.
I mean, to me, it just kind of jumps off as a little selfish.
It is.
I've always looked at Westbrook as a me first guy. I don't think he's a team player at all.
No.
I think I may be harsh on him, and some of my buddies say I am, but I don't think he's ever winning a championship.
No.
I have concerns about him actually distributing the ball and getting Paul George and Melo to shine the way they're capable of.
100%.
I think he's going to be getting in the way.
Here's the thing.
I hope I'm wrong because I feel that if they make it work, they can contend. They can be up there with the Warriors.
But when KD was on his team, he only passed to KD. Let's just say this. There's 24 seconds left on the clock. Comes up the court, dribbles, 20 seconds. Dribbles, 15 seconds. Dribbles, 10 seconds. Dribbles, 5 seconds. Oh my God, 4 seconds left. Then I pass to KD.
Yeah.
When he knows he doesn't have a shot up,
Yeah.
when he knows he's not going to make that shot, then he passes to KD. So
Yeah.
this is the same guy that you put Carmelo Anthony and Paul George on your team for.
Yeah, it raises concerns because he got his 10 assists last year, but I feel like he was just trying to stuff this stat sheet, which he's really capable of. It's not a question of his game; it's a question of his character.
Yeah.
And so my concern is because with Paul George and Melo on the floor, I still think that you want Melo with the ball in the last seconds of the game. He's the most clutch player that they have. I still think. He's got the longest tenure, the biggest resume in terms of making last second shots.
Mm-hmm.
He's done that before. So I think in the last seconds of the game, I want the ball in Melo's hands. But
the Russell Westbrook is Russell Westbrook.
yeah,
So remember last year in the playoffs, right? Paul George was the one that says, "I want to be that guy shooting the ball." Remember the first game of Cleveland versus Indiana, right? And he passed it off to C.J. Miles because LeBron James was guarding him. C.J. Miles shot and missed, and then he gave C.J. Miles crap. And at the podium, he goes, "He should have passed it to me. I want that shot. I want that shot." So you're gonna say, "I want that shot," while Melo's on your team, while Westbrook's on your team. Like, I know you have a little beef with the Golden State Warriors because of Kawhi Leonard. We'll talk about that later, right?
Yeah.
But you have to admit the fact that Golden State Warriors, they pass the ball. They're not selfish like that. Westbrook is selfish, and that's the reason why KD left OKC.
Yeah, I believe so. I think because Westbrook stayed and now signed this big contract with a small town team,
100%.
you know, people are gonna give him props and sort of speak highly about him because of supposed loyalty. But again, like the contract, you know,
Oh yeah.
this is not forward thinking. This is not Tim Duncan taking a pay cut to ensure that all the key guys on the team have a chance at their money so that they can all stay together.
So
You know?
what kind of grade are you gonna?
I mean, Sam Presti, I think he's done a tremendous job with getting players on board this contract here. I'm not sure how he couldn't get Westbrook to sign for less to keep all the other talent, because it tells me he probably made the trades to give those guys a 1-year rental. You know, I mean, Paul George and Melo, probably on the premises because those guys are going to go elsewhere next year.
Yeah.
So I think from that standpoint of acquiring talent, but the Russell Westbrook's contract is a red flag for me because it tells me the roster is going to be completely different next year.
What kind of grade?
I was going to say an A+, but the contract signing today brings a doubt to an A for me.
I got him down to a B because of the contract.
Okay.
Like, it was phenomenal. You got Paul George, you got Melo, and then all of a sudden, this guy comes in and says, "Hey, guess what, guys? I'm making $35 million because I'm an alpha male. This is my team. You're coming to my town. I get higher than paid than you guys." So,
but before we move on, you know, the interesting thing is, did you hear Melo say that the Paul George and Melo to Cavs was basically a done deal on draft night or something like that?
Yeah, I heard that.
I mean, to me, it seems that those two guys with LeBron, they could potentially take down the Warriors.
Oh yeah,
I believe that
they could
because of how unselfish LeBron is on the court.
Yeah.
You know, you can knock him for his interviews, lack of, I think, IQ when he speaks with dancing, lack of IQ when he speaks with reporters. I think sometimes he says too much, shoots himself in the foot. Yeah. But when it comes to getting the job done on the court, you know, that's the guy you want to play with if you want to win.
Exactly. So what about Utah Jazz?
The Jazz. Well, you know, I think I was kind of interested in seeing them retain Gordon Hayward and kind of take that next step. I feel they had a very good year last year, but then they lose George Hill. You know, had a solid year for them. They lose.
Didn't he sign with Sacramento?
He signed with Sacramento. They lose Gordon Hayward. That's like that's close to 40 PPG right there. You know, because George Hill had 17, Hayward had.
I forgot about George Hill going on Sacramento.
Yeah,
I'll raise them a letter grade now.
Okay.
Sacramento. So we're from D to C.
Yeah.
So.
But they're still losing 40 PPG. Where are they going to get that from? You know.
It's hard, man. Like, you know, like not everyone wants to stay in Utah.
Yeah.
Right? These small market teams don't really have a stand a chance, right? So the thing is, you got Rudy Gobert, 22, Ricky Rubio, 14.8, Ingles, 12. He's okay, right?
Yeah.
Derek Favors last season. Joe Johnson, phenomenal clutch player.
Oh my gosh,
phenomenal clutch player.
I love him. Yeah.
10, right? He's coming off the books on the after this year. Cephalosho is 5 for the next 2 years, but you can't like come on, man. This is a Western Conference here. I don't even think they're gonna make the playoffs.
Yeah, it doesn't seem, looking at the roster. I mean, who's going to score consistently?
Exactly.
Derek Favors and Rudy Gobert just kind of seems like two guys playing the same role.
And Ricky Rubio, like he was good when his first 2 years, but now he's just off the map.
He'll give you 8 assists a game, but that's the only thing he does.
Yeah.
And are you gonna try? Are they thinking they're gonna get Atlanta Hawks type of production from Joe Johnson? Those years are behind him. So I don't know. I think it's.
I give him a C, man.
Yeah, and I feel bad for Joe Johnson. If I'm Joe Johnson, I'm asking for a buyout. Because it's just not the same team.
Exactly.
So.
Okay, so we have the LA Clippers. Okay, so LA Clippers. Where do we start? First of all, you lose CP3, but then you gain some pieces back. Okay, that's cool, but you lose CP3.
Yeah.
Right? Why? Because Doc Rivers didn't want to trade his own son to get Melo.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So that was the gist of it. That's what CP3 wanted to go to Houston, and then he wanted to go to Houston, and then he said to Melo, "Okay, come join me in Houston."
Yeah.
So CP3 gave up the $200 million to sign for like 5 years just to go to Houston for that. So, it is what it is. LA Clippers, I know they did get some pieces back, but it's not the greatest pieces. You got Gallinari, that's okay. You signed him for $20 million. Gallinari for $20 million. That's freaking. That's crazy. You got some scorers on there. You got Lou Will. You got Patrick Beverley's a menace on defense.
Yeah.
He's just like holy. Yeah, the rest of the guys is okay, right? But the one guy I want to talk about here is not DeAndre Jordan, who's rumored to have gonna sign an extension, but the one guy I'm talking about is Blake Griffin. How many times has he been injured in the last 3 seasons?
I think he's missed probably 30 games each season.
So why? Tell me why is he making 29 next year, 31 the following year, 34 the following year, 36 the following year, 38 the other year?
I think it's just a case of keeping talent and assets in place. My question is, are DeAndre Jordan and Blake Griffin going to be as effective without Chris Paul there? Because let's face it, Chris Paul is arguably one of the best point guards, if not the best at this point at being the floor general.
Exactly.
Precisely.
Yeah.
He's because Steph Curry, you could make an argument he's a combo guard. Yeah. Kyrie Irving is a combo guard. Isaiah Thomas is a combo guard. Chris Paul is a master orchestrator when it comes to offense.
Exactly.
Just gets everybody involved. So to me, it's not the same team. No disrespect to Patrick Beverley. I think he's going to have a solid year. He has got a lot to prove.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. Blake to me is a case of just keeping talent and he's box office too. He sells tickets, right? So it's probably a business decision.
Okay. LA Clippers, I'm giving them a C-.
I'll have to agree with you there.
This is just like if they gave Blake Griffin maybe, I wouldn't say an extension of that much money. If they would have just given an extension of half that money, because for God's sakes, like he's okay, like he's aging big time as we speak, right? Mm-hmm. He gets injured every year. Remember that one incident that he had? He punched out the trainer.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
You gonna give that guy that kind of money, right?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, who's going to keep him in check now, right?
Exactly.
Who's the senior member on the team who's going to keep everybody in check?
Exactly. That's a good point.
Because I feel like Lewis Williams is a downgrade from Jamal Crawford.
Oh,
Patrick Beverley is no Chris Paul. Did they lose Redick? Redick is on.
Yeah, he's gone.
Yeah,
Where'd he go?
Sixers, I think.
Oh yeah, Sixers. Yeah.
So it's a different team. It's a different team. So it'll be interesting to see what
Yeah. No.
what happens.
I don't even know if they're gonna make the playoffs.
But you know what? Who did they get? West, Jerry West as their GM.
Yeah, and he approved these changes.
Okay, so I think because of Jerry West's resume, I'm gonna probably raise it to C, but that's as far as I'm gonna go. So,
okay, Houston.
Oh man, that's. I feel like Chris Paul is the biggest loser this offseason.
He is 100%. He is
Giving up $200 million, coming to the Rockets, hoping, hoping Melo comes on board. It never happens.
Mm-hmm.
They got James Harden. They got Eric Gordon. How is Chris Paul gonna fit into that roster and that style of play?
Well, here's the thing. Like I personally, because I like the effort. I like the effort that Houston did.
Yes.
Right? And I like the fact that they came in and grabbed Chris Paul. So we're not talking about Chris Paul. We're talking about Houston here. I'm giving it an A+.
Okay. Yeah.
Because the effort that they made to sign Melo, the effort that they actually did, and it came through to get Chris Paul. They got PJ Tucker. That guy's a strong defensive player. Right? Mm-hmm. They got Black. He's a beast on the boards.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Even though he's somewhat tamed and like he doesn't have that motor. Like he has that motor to go, but he doesn't have that feistiness, right? And then Clint Capella, he's amazing too, right? He's a very athletic center. So I give these guys as A+.
A+. Just because of Chris Paul. Yeah.
Chris Paul, the Melo thing that they did, and very underrated PJ Tucker.
Yeah, I think because of the roster, I'll give him a B.
Mm-hmm.
But my thing is with Melo, if they got Melo, yeah, it would have been an A+. They didn't succeed, because they were offering Ryan Anderson with his $60 million to the Knicks. The Knicks were not going to go for that.
Quick question for you: what's Nene's last name?
Hilario, I think. Nene Hilario.
Is it me or he's turned into Prince, the artist formerly known as Nene? He doesn't go with the
yeah, I don't know.
Last name? What the hell?
This has been a bit of a journeyman in this latter stages of his career. I think with Chris Paul, honestly, I'm wondering, are you messing with the system that worked for you? Because James Harden was playing point, distributing the ball, scoring, being an MVP candidate. Is Chris Paul going to get in the way of that? That's the only reason I'm going to give him a B. Because if Melo came on board, yeah, that's an A+.
Okay, in that case, I'm giving him cutting him down to A- then.
Yeah,
forgot about that.
To me, it seems like it's a bit of an interference with the good thing that has been working in their favor. Because that's why Mike D'Antoni got a Coach of the Year.
Yeah, for sure.
Because of that system that you work out with Harden, putting the ball in his hands. So
100%. Okay, so this one, I'm going to let you lead on this one. We have your favorite team, the San Antonio Spurs. Now, you got to be honest, because I was honest about the Lakers.
The Lakers, yeah.
So you got to tell me, what grade did these guys get in the offseason?
Well, I think I'm going to give them a... I'm going to give them a B.
Mm-hmm.
Just because of the roster. I feel that the Rudy Gay signing is good for two reasons. The culture change of the organizational culture of the Spurs, being that if you can do one thing well, you can be a prominent player. And you can make a career for yourself. Look at Thiago Splitter. He got that contract out of Hawks because of the productivity he had on the Spurs championship teams. Mm-hmm. We never heard from him since. So Greg Popovich is very good at sort of putting people in positions where they can be successful if they're willing to do the work and listen to his voice. With Rudy Gay, the other factor is minute management. So Rudy Gay coming off of injury, I think it's an ideal situation for him because Pop's going to manage his minutes very well. And if Rudy Gay is willing to listen to Pop about implementing his skill set in a way that would make the team successful, Rudy Gay is going to have a solid year, potentially work himself up to a nice contract. With respect to Aldridge, the jury's still out. I want him to get back to the Blazers years.
Yeah.
I feel like the Spurs are going to need that kind of production from him to be able to compete with the Warriors. Kawhi is a monster. To me, he is top 5. I personally put him into number 2 after LeBron. To me, he's
100%. Yeah.
number 2 because of there's not a single thing that guy doesn't do well, and he keeps on getting better every year.
Exactly. What kind of? You said you give him a B?
A B, yeah.
I'm actually gonna give him a B plus because this is the thing I like about the Spurs. They are underrated and they like it.
Yes.
The why would I say that is the reason because I'm going through this contract, or sorry, not this contract, this salaried roster here. They signed Pau Gasol, who's still a good center, for 16 mil.
Yeah.
Right? LaMarcus Aldridge for 21. Kawhi for 18. Parker for 15. Patrick Mills for 10. Danny Green for 10. Rudy Gay for 8. Ginobili, he retired, right?
No, he's still in there. He signed a 1-year contract with another one guaranteed, but it's his player option, I think.
And the rest of the guys, they're okay, but the reason why it didn't give them A minus is because they lost out on Jonathan Simmons.
Yeah, that was a big loss.
That was a huge loss because when Kawhi went down, Jonathan Simmons was the only engine on that team.
Yeah.
100%, right? So think about it this way, okay? Like for God's sakes, you got the Raptors giving away 60 mil between DeMar DeRozan and Kyle Lowry, right? That's 60 mil, right? That's like 4 guys on the Spurs. That much money.
Yeah. Well, that's what I'm saying. It's probably the best organization in terms of getting players to buy into the system. It's a proven winning system. The one that is predicated on making people's individual contributions and talent shine. I mean, you can go down the line, and I don't know some of those guys closer to the end of the roster, but DeJounte Murray and Kyle Anderson, those guys can play. They're young, they're on the bench. They could probably be capable role players on any other team. But, Pop somehow has a way of retaining talent on the bench. The guys who could probably shine elsewhere are still playing for the Spurs.
Yeah.
At sort of minimum dollars, even though those 2 guys are up and coming. So it's just getting players to buy in and succeed as a collective core. I think that's what the Spurs are good at. And so you're absolutely right, getting them to sacrifice salaries so that they can all stay together.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Because the next team, I give them a B plus, you give them a B. The next team, you don't like them, but they are the NBA champs, and that's the Golden State Warriors. So, without saying anything right now, without commenting on anything, you gotta tell me what letter grade you give these guys for this off season.
It's gotta be an A. It's gotta be an A. I feel like Nick Young was a very solid pickup. You're getting another offensive player who's capable of putting up 18 on any given night. Or 20, however many, if he gets hot. You got Kevin Durant sort of buying into sacrificing to be part of Golden State Warriors' future. Right. I mean, the guys are there. Like the crazy thing about them all is that they're all in their 20s still, are they not?
Yeah, no, exactly.
So we're talking about a potential dynasty. and all of them wanting to stay together like this.
I give him an A too.
Yeah.
You know why? Because I would have given him an A plus if it wasn't for Stephen Curry accepting that huge contract.
Yeah.
I'm not a big fan of these guys accepting a huge contract, and then that ruins it for the rest of the team, right? So, besides that contract, Kevin Durant took a pay cut because he should make more than Steph Curry. Right?
Yeah.
Clay, Draymond, they were pretty much the same, right? Like they didn't change. Andre Iguodala was very close to signing with the Rockets in the offseason, but he chose to stay because they upped his price for 14 or 14.8, 16 the following year, 17 the following year. Sean Livingston, he still re-signed with the Golden State Warriors. They picked up Nick Young. They still got David West, which is really good still. McGee.
Had incredible finals.
Incredible finals.
Playoff run, really.
They picked up Caspi for 2.1. That's a pretty good pickup. But the one guy I want to talk about, besides Patrick McCaw, he's really good too, is Jordan Bell. This guy is a beast, and what they did was they picked him up, and they actually paid the Chicago Bulls money to get him, and he's very good player, right? So they got Jordan Bell, who's another offensive rebounding machine.
Yeah.
He can't shoot.
Yeah.
But he rebounds. Oh, they're not asking you to shoot. They're asking you to pick up the freaking rebound, pass it to one of these, to the main guys, and that's all you got to do.
Yeah.
If they got an opening spot, we can be the rebounders.
Yeah, because there's not enough shots to go for everyone out there anyway when you got KD and Steph Curry.
Exactly. Right? So I give him an A. I give him an 100% A.
Yeah. Because I think grades are not only about accumulating talent, it's also about retaining. And the fact that they got Stephen Curry that huge contract and yet still convinced Kevin Durant into staying, that's pretty good.
I just don't know if that's going to be, if they're all going to be around for the next 3 years. I see yes.
Yeah.
But after 3 years, I don't know, man. I really don't know.
Well, I think there was some grumbling. People were suspecting that Klay Thompson was unhappy because you remember how in the beginning of the season he had a hard time finding his shots.
Mm-hmm.
It was just a different system for him all of a sudden. So I think at some point they might have a challenge retaining, like you said, all the talent because bickering might start, as to who gets the shots and where.
Yeah, exactly.
Kind of like Kyrie LeBron situation. I agree that maybe another 2 seasons and then we'll see what happens from there.
Mm-hmm. What about jumping over to the Eastern Conference Finals? So with the Eastern Conference Final, or sorry, not the Eastern Conference Finals, but the Eastern Conference, we'll start off with the Brooklyn Nets, right?
Mm-hmm.
What kind of letter grade are you going to give them?
I think I'll give them a C.
Mm-hmm.
You got Jeremy Lin, you got D'Angelo Russell. D'Angelo Russell showed flashes of being a capable player.
Yeah.
Being able to pass and shoot. But I think the jury's still out, You can't really give him too much praise. Jeremy Lin, is he going to get injured again? It seems like the guy spends 50% of the season on the bench.
I thought he spent 50% of his doing his hair.
Yeah. That's the other 50%.
with the dippity dude hair gel. It's like, what the hell?
It's like, I don't know. Lin's sanity is long gone. So
I thought he left in New York.
I think it'll be interesting.
So with the Brooklyn Nets, you pick up Trevor Booker. He's okay. He's good. DeMarre Carroll, I'm interested in that. Like something's gonna come from that. Alan Crabb, you got him too. Timothy Mozgov is good enough to pick up rebounds, right?
Yeah.
I would have to give him a C plus.
C plus.
C plus, if not A minus. Because the thing is, Sean Marks, the Brooklyn GM, he did a fairly good job at picking up D'Angelo Russell, DeMarre Carroll, Timothy Mozgov, and Alan Crabb.
Wait, they got Darren Williams?
No, I think they still owe him money.
Oh,
right?
Okay, all right.
And so he's still getting paid, even though he sucks.
Yeah, that was just
the guy's still getting paid,
huge
man.
fall from grace.
No, man, That's crazy. What about the Sixers here?
Sixers, well, it's the whole process. Trust the process, right?
Exactly.
I'm actually getting excited about seeing them on the floor.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like they got a squad. A lot of they got a bit of a youth movement there. Lots of hungry players. With Embiid sort of leading the way.
So Ben Simmons is gonna start finally. Thank God.
Yes.
Joel Embiid, he's good to go. Okafor, I feel bad for the guy because he's a bench.
Yeah, I feel like that's probably a trade asset at this point. I mean, is he going to be happy playing second string to Joel Embiid? Probably not.
No, not a chance. You got JJ Redick. You picked him up for 23 mil for 1 season.
Yeah.
Right. Amir Johnson for 11. That's pretty much the only pickups you got other than Markelle Fultz. So, what kind of grade are you giving these guys? Just for the off season, right? I know they're gonna be fantastic during the season because of past acquisitions, right?
Yeah.
But I'm talking about the off season. Did they do anything or did they need to do that much? I don't think they needed to do that much.
No, I don't think so either. I think they got the JJ Redick in there, and I think he can be a good mentor for guys like Nick Stauskas and TJ McConnell, because I feel like Nick Stauskas can take that next step. He's got the shooting range. He can be the type of guy like JJ Redick coming off the bench, giving teams a spark. So maybe that mentorship will be good. But what grade? I feel like because of the roster they already had in place, I would give him an A minus.
I give him a C plus.
C plus. All right.
You know why? Because JJ Redick is the only vet you have on this thing.
Yes. Yeah.
Right? And so the thing is, like, you got all this money. You can't sign one guy for, like, 20 mil, right? Like, you have all these young guys that do not have any mentorship, any guidance, nothing, right? I know in, like, 2 years, these guys are going to be crazy. But you have nothing. So I give them a C plus.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so the next team we should discuss here is the Orlando Magic.
Orlando Magic.
Who is on the Orlando Magic?
Peyton. What's his name? Alfred Payton, or what's?
Yeah, that's the only guy I know. They picked up Jonathan Simmons. Sorry, my bad.
Yeah, Jonathan Simmons is there. But again, like I feel like Jonathan Simmons might be a bit of a fool's gold. Is he the guy that you can give the keys to and say, go take us to the promised land? I don't know. He was very good. He was good in in the amount of minutes that he played on the Spurs.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if he's prepared to take the next step.
Here's the thing with Orlando Magic. They picked up Jonathan Simmons. That's fine, right?
Yeah.
But remember last season? They picked up Bismack Biyombo for 17 mil per season.
Yeah.
Have you ever heard of Bismack Biyombo ever since he left the Raptors?
No.
Exactly.
No. Terrence Ross. I mean, what are you gonna do with that?
I know. You know what? After because the off season, you picked up Aaron Aflalo, right?
Yeah.
The off season, I gotta give these guys I don't know, C minus.
I'm gonna go with that too. It's just these names don't really strike any fear into me when I look at them. It's like
me and you can take these guys one-on-one.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, so New York Knicks. What are you gonna give the New York?
Oh, the
Knicks?
New York Knicks. In terms of acquisitions, okay, they get Tim Hardaway Jr.
They paid him pretty good.
Do they overpay him? Or do they not?
They paid him pretty good.
The market dictates the value, so I think the guy earned his money. I don't know that you pay him any less. So he had a good showing on the Hawks. Again, that's with Paul Millsap next to him. With Dwight Howard next to him. Those names are not going to be on that team. Now it's Kristaps and him. Is he ready to be that leading voice and leading player. So I'm not sure. I think I would give them honestly a D plus.
Mm-hmm.
I D plus or C minus because they got Enes Kanter. The guy could score down low, but he can't defend my grandma. you know. Ideally, Kristaps would have been playing that position if it wasn't for Enes. So you're now removing Kristaps from the 5, putting him at a 4, right?
Yeah.
Which I think Kristaps is going to be fine, but
what about the GOAT, Michael Beasley?
Michael Beasley he talks a lot of smack. I mean, you got to remember he put up 20 points a game on the Warriors, not the Warriors, sorry, the Timberwolves in 2011.
Yeah.
I think the guy is capable of scoring. But again, like
something's wrong with him, man.
Yeah, I wouldn't trust his character.
No.
If that's the guy you're rolling with in terms of putting all your bags in the basket, that's
Any
that's
guy,
scary.
any guy that calls himself a GOAT and wears a wristwatch on his ankle
Yeah,
through the streets of New York,
yeah,
something's got to be wrong with the guy. I just
Yeah.
don't get that. And then Frank Nitkana from France. This guy right here, I don't know.
I hear the guy can play. That's all I know. I mean,
He's got a crazy wingspan though.
yes. I think honestly the guys you're watching is Willie Hernan Gomez, Kristaps, and Tikulina or whatever.
See, I
the
give him a
French name is.
C plus because the thing is they do have a fuller roster than they did last year,
Yeah,
right? Because they do have a lot more pieces than they had last year. So, in those terms, I think they're going to be better than they were last year.
okay.
Charlotte. Let's go for Charlotte here. The only acquisition I know that Charlotte did was Dwight Howard.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's because Jordan kind of went out of his way and basically told Howard, you can come and play with us or something like that. Are they trying to resurrect his career?
Yeah.
I mean, let's look at the roster for a second. Nicholas Batum can play, right?
Mm-hmm.
Dwight Howard, I'm not so sure about anymore. Michael Kidd-Gilchrist is a glue guy, kind of a little bit of everything.
Mm-hmm.
Campbell Walker, that guy is golden.
But they did pick up Malik Monk.
Okay.
That guy's fast.
Okay. Yeah.
So, I'm thinking I'll give him a B minus
B minus.
because Dwight Howard still can play.
Yeah.
He's not the elite level that he used to be, but he is reunited with his assistant coach in Orlando, as in Steve Clifford.
All right. Yeah.
So hopefully they can give him some touches, right?
Yeah. It's just. I think NBA has moved on from playing down low with your back to the basket. I feel like he's just an outdated player in today's league.
What about Detroit? And I already know what I'm gonna give them. It's the first letter of this team's name. Detroit.
Give him a D.
Give him a D for Detroit.
Yeah.
That's okay. Let's just go through this thing for a second. Andre Drummond can't hit free throws. Tobias Harris, it hasn't proven anything. Oh yeah, they did get Avery Bradley, but then again, they did give up Marquise Morris. Right?
Yeah.
And who else have they got? Stanley Johnson doesn't play because what's his face? Stan Van Gundy doesn't like him.
Oh, he signed Josh Smith?
Did they? No, they're still paying him.
Oh, still paying him. Okay.
They're still paying him.
All right.
Right? So
Reggie Jackson,
well,
Avery Bradley, Andre Drummond, that's not a bad roster,
I don't know.
Avery Bradley, I think just because of that pickup, I'm prepared to give him maybe a D+.
Yeah.
But that's about it.
Okay.
You're
being generous.
Yeah.
I get it. You're being generous.
But again, I feel like Andre Drummond, he'll get you rebounds, but as a player, how does he function in today's NBA?
Exactly. Okay, so what about the Miami? So the Miami Heat, they went and they thought they were going to get a number of these marquee free agents, but they never got a single one. They just retained. Um, they just retained their one player by the name of not Hassan Whiteside, but Dion Waiters, and they still have the fourth highest payroll.
Yeah, still paying Chris Bosh's money.
Still paying Chris Bosh. They got Hassan Whiteside, Dragic, James Johnson. They paid him a pretty good chunk. Dion Waiters, Kelly Olynyk. That's a funny one because Boston didn't want him because of the fact they needed him to needed to get Gordon Hayward, so they had to pay Kelly Olynyk. That's a pretty cheap pickup you got there for $10 million.
Yeah,
He was pretty good in the playoffs,
yeah.
right?
He's gonna take out a shoulder or two. He's
Yeah.
good for that.
Yeah, for sure. I gave these guys.
Like you did with Kevin Love.
Oh, yeah, exactly right. I give these guys a C plus. They didn't do
C plus.
They didn't do that much in the
Yeah.
offseason. All they did was pick up Kelly Olynyk, the shoulder destroyer.
Yeah.
Right.
I feel if Chris Bosh was still on the roster, it would have been a B minus. I think for me, I'm gonna go with C plus too. I think Goran Dragic is coming off of really successful outing at Eurobasket. Was one of the best players out there with Kristaps and the other Serbian guy, I forget his name. But he and Waiters make an exciting backcourt. Both are hungry, both are pests.
Yeah.
Well, it'll be interesting to see what happens.
Okay, so the next one, Chicago Bulls, F minus, 100%. It's just, I don't even know what to say about these guys. It's Chicago Bulls, F minus, all across the board.
Yeah.
100%.
I hope Zach LaVine gets better. He was fun to watch.
You lost Dwayne Wade. You lost Rondo. You lost Jimmy Butler. And who did you pick up? You picked up Zach LaVine and Chris Dunn. And you have the NBA's best dancer, as in Cameron Payne.
Yeah.
That's your top three players right there. And the guy that beats up mascots, as in Robin Lopez.
The Bulls are probably winning 12, 15 games this year.
Yeah, exactly.
And honestly, it's just back to the post-Jordan era. Remember the young Bulls?
Yeah.
When they weren't really much?
Yeah.
I think they're back to that stage again.
I don't even want to bother with these guys. They're F minus, 100%.
Yeah.
100%. Next team, Indiana Pacers. What are you going to give these guys?
Indiana Pacers. You got Oladipo, high volume shooter. I'm gonna go with D plus.
Yeah, you know what? They could have got so much more for Paul George.
Yeah.
So much more. Yet they only got Oladipo, and you got Sabonis.
Yeah.
Even though he's supposed to be good, but for Paul George status?
Yeah, so he still needs a few years to kind of make his mark, Sabonis. You got Miles Turner. Monta Ellis is on one leg at this point of his career. Yeah, it's just not the same. Not the same
at all. It's ridiculous, right?
Yeah. I'd be surprised if they make the playoffs, honestly.
Oh, they won't make the playoffs. No way. 100%. They will not make the playoffs. Not a chance in hell. But the next team is the Milwaukee Bucks, who is number 5 on the payroll, and they've never even won a round in the playoffs, have they?
I don't think they did. Yeah.
When's the last time they won a playoff round?
Oh man.
Okay, so
I don't remember.
maybe you can help me with this. Okay, it's not calculations. It's not essay questions. How do you say this guy's name?
Giannis Antetokounmpo. Yeah, I think everybody calls him the Greek Freak, right? So that's kind of the nickname, because they can't pronounce his last name.
Uh,
It's unfortunate, but
okay, so they have not done a single thing this season, have they? This off season, have they? Aside from the fact that you signed Jason Terry for $2.3 million,
yeah.
and Spencer Hawes, I didn't even know he was on Milwaukee Bucks.
Well,
Weird. Wow. Okay.
Brendan Rush, that's a name I haven't seen in a long time.
Yeah, he was on the Warriors for a while. I don't know what happened to him. Oh, Jabari Parker.
Oh, that's the guy. That's the guy. He had a solid year, 20 points a game last year. But then I think he tore his ACL or MCL, whatever the injury was. But it's on his second leg, the good leg.
Oh my god.
So now both legs are gone. Does he have the mental capacity
To come back.
to come back from this and to think my knees are strong enough for me
He's
to
a
be
pretty
able to
young
do this?
guy, man. Like, he could come back.
I mean, to be honest, Russell Westbrook has some history of significant injuries too. He's still jumping all over the place. So hopefully.
Yeah, he's got to calm that stuff down, man. Milwaukee Bucks, I'd give them C-.
Yeah, I think you can't really knock the roster as they have it, provided they all play well.
I don't.
But they haven't done too many changes.
They're in the East, so they might
Yeah.
make the playoffs. Might not. I don't know, right? What about the Atlanta Hawks? They really did not
man.
do much.
Yeah, I'd give them an F.
Yeah, I really have to agree, especially since the fact that Dennis Schroeder got charged with domestic battery this morning.
Yeah.
The only person that they picked up was Jamal Crawford.
Is he on the Hawks?
Yeah.
I thought he was on the T-Wolves. No?
Oh. Yeah, he is on the T-Wolves.
Yeah, I think we missed that.
They traded him, then they waived him.
Yeah.
I don't know why the hell you would waive a guy like Jamal Crawford.
He probably just didn't want to be there. I mean,
Yeah,
look at that roster.
Oh, exactly.
Yeah.
Right? This roster is ugly.
I mean, like when you have Dennis Schroeder as your top dog, so to speak.
Oh my god.
Can you imagine giving the keys of the franchise to that guy, and the first thing he does gets in trouble?
Domestic bet. Man, I can't even look at this roster.
That's a huge fall from grace, considering they were one of the top teams in the Eastern Conference just a few years ago. So
At least Dwight Howard gave him some relevance,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
And then they lost Dwight Howard and Paul Millsap in one off season. That's unbelievable. Oh my god. I don't know. Some teams are just like I don't know what goes through some teams' head.
I think they gambled, hoping to re-sign Millsap, and he probably just didn't want to be there.
Yeah.
So
Okay, so let's talk about the Wizards, who's number 6 on the payroll. Why are they number 6? Because they had a restriction, or they had to sign Otto Porter to an offer sheet because New Jersey they made an offer on him, so the Wizards had to match that. So with 3 players for the next season, you have Otto Porter 24, Bradley Beal 23. That's $47 million right there. 18 million goes to John Wall, right?
mm-hmm.
That's a rough around 65 mil. And then you got Markieff Morris, 8. And then you got Ian Mombi, whatever, 16 mil. It's phenomenal because what do you think of this roster? Like, the only thing that they did was Otto Porter.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you gotta keep the talent. If you remember last year, there was a lot of rumor about DeMarcus Cousins coming in, some way.
Yeah.
of getting on the roster. I still hope deep inside that at some point that happens.
Yeah.
Because I feel like John Wall, Bradley Beal, and DeMarcus Cousins, that would have been a fun roster.
Mm-hmm.
But as it is, I mean, what do you give them, like a D minus?
I give these guys a D because I've never
yeah.
heard, I didn't hear anything from the Wizards besides Otto Porter. Like,
Yeah, everybody else got better. I guess what you're hoping
Yeah.
that Bradley Beal and John Wall both take the next step. But how much more can you expect out of those guys? John
'Cause-
Wall is already bowling out of his mind.
and Bradley Beal mostly is injured.
Yeah.
Like, not compared to Blake Griffin, but he's quite a bit injured.
When he's there, he's awesome.
Yeah,
but
yeah,
it's,
for sure.
they're probably one of the top backcourts. But it's I feel like John Wall is as far as this team goes, honestly.
Uh-huh. I don't know. This team right here boggles my mind because was it this offseason? I think it was. They re-signed Kyle Lowry, and he's gonna make 28 next year.
Yeah.
Serge Ibaka is gonna make 12. Oh, sorry, not 12. 20. DeMar DeRozan is gonna make 27. Jonas Valanciunas and him and his lovely commercials are gonna make 15 mil. Lucas Nogueira, he's gonna make 2, and then the rest is, I don't know, man. Like, the rest they don't have that much.
I don't know, man. You look at the roster, and Kyle Lowry and DeMar are both self-made. I think it's opportunity, it's minutes. Like we chatted about that. No disrespect to DeMar, he can play now because he's worked on it.
Yeah.
But I mean, Kyle Lowry was testing the free agent market when he realized when all the top guns were signed and there was no place for him to go anywhere else to get the money that he wanted. He stayed on the Raptors. It's not necessarily loyalty.
Mm-hmm.
So whatever he put out on Players Tribune out there, I don't think it was 100% true.
No.
About, it was always Toronto. It wasn't. So, I don't know. To me, it seems like, I think considering how well they've done last year, they're going to probably be one of the top teams in the Eastern Conference anyway. But
I see that. But in this offseason, I give these guys like a C minus.
yeah, they haven't improved.
No, they didn't. I think they actually got worse.
Yeah.
100%. I
Yeah.
think they got worse when they traded to trade away your bench, DeMar Carroll,
Yeah.
just to make room, like a salary dump.
And they're not going to be able to compete with the Celtics. I
No,
don't think.
not a chance. Not a
Yeah.
chance. 100%. So now we got the Celtics. Celtics is one of the big offseason teams in the sense of the fact that they brought in Gordon Hayward and traded for Kyrie Irving. Was that a smart move, considering the fact they lost half their bench? They lost that Ante Zizic, that up-and-coming star from EuroLeague. They lost Isaiah Thomas. They lost Jay Crowder. They lost Avery Bradley, even though they did pick up the other Morris guy. And they did... I'm pretty sure they lost somebody else. I can't remember the guy's name. But the fact that they did lose a lot of their key players, but the thing is, they did, like, if you think about it, they do still have Terry Rozier, Aaron Baines is whatever, Marcus Smart, they did keep him. Jaylen Brown is supposed to be very good. Marcus Morris, they picked him up. Jason Tatum is supposed to be the next big thing. Kyrie Irving, Al Horford, Gordon Hayward. I'm gonna give these guys A minus.
A minus, yeah. I think that's fair. I think just because we don't know of what kind of production Tatum and Brown are gonna give them, if any, playing behind Kyrie and Gordon Hayward. I think they have the opportunity to develop slowly. It's just the team to me looks different. I like the Gordon Hayward pickup because it seems like he fits the Boston crowd. You know, he's perfect for Boston. Um, do they play defense? You know, does Gordon play defense?
I think he does.
Yeah, I think he's an okay defender. He's not elite.
Not that much, but like he's
Um,
under Brad Stevens. These guys are gonna be good.
yeah, I feel like he'll get him to buy in and to be part of his system. Definitely enough scoring. I think they're going to be fine there. I think Al Horford is a perfect guy for this day and age for the league because he's extended his shooting into long range.
Mm-hmm.
You see him taking threes once in a while and like shooting long twos. I like the team, but it's a different DNA at this point.
Yeah,
and I think the opportunity to go get Kyrie, they jumped on there because they were not so sure about Isaiah Thomas being able to repeat the success with the injury that he had.
mm-hmm.
You know, they just didn't want to gamble. They wanted to kind of retain the momentum, which you can't blame them for that.
Yeah.
Remains to be seen though how well these pieces play out.
So you give him an A, right?
A minus, yeah.
A minus. Okay. The only thing they got left to do is pick up a center. That's all.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So now the final team is the number one payroll team, sitting at $141 million, is the Cleveland Cavaliers. What grade are you giving the Cleveland Cavaliers in the offseason? Remember, they just picked up Dwayne Wade.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna go with solid A. They give up Kyrie Irving, who is an elite player in my opinion, because if he can play defense if he wants to. I think what Dwayne Wade brings to the table is he will give LeBron that added comfort in pressure moments.
Mm-hmm.
Dwayne Wade's presence alone just gives that peace, you know, and stability to LeBron. I like Derrick Rose pickup. I think he quietly put together a very solid season on the Knicks. So he'll be able to contribute with that energy and scoring ability, getting to the rim and playing against second unit.
Yeah.
You know, I think he's going to be a great addition to their bench play. Take minutes off of LeBron. Hopefully Kyle Korver plays better for them than he did last year. And I hope Isaiah Thomas returns to full strength.
You're gonna laugh at what kind of grade I'm gonna give him.
What?
Just guess.
A plus. Yeah. No,
Well,
that's fair enough.
Their bench improved considerably. Yeah. Like you go through the roster, like okay, everybody's devastated that they lost on Kyrie Irving, but I think it's a blessing in disguise.
Well, they got Jeff Green too. Wow.
They got Jeff Green. They got Dwayne Wade. They got Jose Calderon. They got Derrick Rose. They got Ante Zizic. He's supposed to be very good too. You got Richard Jefferson. He's still good. Isaiah Thomas. Jay Crowder off the bench. Kyle Korver. Channing Frye. Iman Shumpert. Very good on defense. J.R. Smith. When he gets going on the three, he gets going. Tristan Thompson. Offensive glass master. Kevin Love. Rebound and passer galore, and LeBron James. You can't say anything bad about this guy.
No. Right? He was a monster. Yeah.
He's the best.
Still the
player.
best player.
Yeah, the best player.
Opinion,
That's why I give these guys a 100% A plus.
Yeah, they're definitely back in the Eastern Conference Finals.
Oh, guaranteed, 100%.
Compete with them.
100%. But
prediction for the finals. You want to?
Cavs Warriors.
Cavs Warriors.
Round 4.
Yeah, as much as I want to see my Spurs in the finals, I think I'm going to go with Cavs Warriors unless...
You got to admit, the Warriors did more offseason moves than the Spurs.
Yeah.
Right? The Cavs, because of the Dwayne Wade pickup, did more offseason moves than the Boston Celtics. So top 4 teams, you got Boston Celtics, you got Cavs, OKC, and Golden State Warriors.
Okay, and what about in terms of the matchup? How many games? Who wins? 7-game series.
In terms of Cavs versus Warriors?
Cavs versus Warriors, yeah.
4-1, same thing.
4-1, same thing.
So you get
Yeah.
even though that you got a deep roster here, the speed is the factor,
Yeah.
right? You got speed versus non-speed.
I'm wondering, Dwayne Wade, crunch time. I'm gonna say I'm gonna add another game to the Cavs, so I'm gonna say
4-2.
Warriors in 6. Yeah.
That's fun. Yeah. Okay. Well, thanks a lot for coming to Jag Mangit's show. We'll have you on for next time. I love your opinion. That's George, and this is Jag Mangit for the Jag Mangit podcast. We'll catch you next time, and hopefully we're jumping into the preseason. Thanks a lot, George.